Hello, folks. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. How are ya? This is the 21st of March, 2014. I wanted to put this up here to let everyone know that I will be back Monday. Look for a new Wayne S. Pierce show and a new The Views Expressed live. And lots of things have just been going on. As you can tell, my voice is still kind of screwed up a little bit because of my sinus infection I had all week. I figured, you know what, I'll just take a whole week off. You know, I know you guys miss me. I know, you know. But anyway, I want you all to know that it's been one of those weeks. The Malaysian airline flight missing. Was there ever a flight? Ponder that. And just all kinds of stuff. Russian President Vladimir Putin taking over one part and the Europeans taking over another part of the Ukraine. And, it just literally goes without saying, really. Then why am I saying it, right? Vladimir Putin is basically doing what his predecessors did. In other words, communism is not dead. But he is a very, very smart man, and he knows when the political chess game is not to his advantage. And so he's going to wait. And that, I believe, within the next 6 months to a year, things are going to happen that are going to make you open your eyes to what's happening in America specifically, in the United States. And when I say America, I'm looking at Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. So the North American continent. And so I'm seeing a whole lot of things happening. And it's, let's put it this way. The push to the abyss is rapidly approaching. And if people cannot wake up and cannot understand what is happening in their own backyard and, refuse to accept what is happening in their own backyard, then, not my problem. I'm telling you all of these things, myself and others in the alternative media are telling you all these things, and you're sitting there going, you're lying. This is not happening. Everything's okay. Really? Really? Right. Yeah. Okay, and the light at the end of the tunnel is not the exit, it's an oncoming train, so get the hell out of the way. Okay, I'm telling you. And here's one of the things that I have found in my own research. I have found not only what's happening in the world, and I've been researching this for over 30 years, but I've also studied the reaction that people have to the information that I and many others present to the general public, and they have this deer in the headlight look, and then they have complete and utter denial, and then they have this complete and utter fear, and then all of a sudden they start seeing little things if they were paying attention. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this can't be happening, another part of the denial. And then, all of a sudden, they get hit by this big-ass truck that was coming at them anyway, and, that they denied was coming at them. And then they look at people like us and go, or like me specifically, and say, why didn't you tell me? I was, and you didn't listen. It's like, I don't know how easier or how much more simple I can make it for you to understand. Crap hit the fan a long time ago, and we're just now brushing it off, looking up from brushing that off and cleaning ourselves up to seeing another pile of crap coming at us. Okay? If you want to keep getting hit by piles of crap and not get out of the way, that's your problem, not mine. I'm telling you, there's this big pile of crap coming, and I think you should get out of the way. People are going to look at me and say, well, why do you talk like that? Well, it's real simple. I talk like that because it's true. I talk like that because it's factual. I talk like that and try to simplify it or sometimes make it really harsh because it is what it is. I mean, that's just the way it is. Let me put it to you in a very innocuous way. Okay? You're coming up to a four-way stop. There's 4 stop signs. And at that intersection, you see people walking, you see, people walking dogs, riding bikes, that kind of thing. And then there's 4 cars. There's you and 3 other cars. Now, the courtesy that you give to others is a result of what you've learned and understood, right? So far, we're on the same page. The driver's handbook that you read, that you learned and all that to get your driver's license says that the person on the right goes first, right? Right? You give the person on the right of way, right? It's logical. Which means that as you're sitting there looking at the other 3 cars, 2 of the cars on the cross streets will go. Which means that after they go, you can go. And so can the car on the other side. It's real simple. Okay? I mean, it's that simple, right? Well, let me break it down even to a more simpler form to understand. 1 + 1 still equals 2 in my book. Okay? I mean, you wake up, you look out, you hear the news, you see these things, you go to work and you hear people complaining, and you hear dozens of people saying, well, my insurance went up 3 times, tripled. My insurance is Obamacare sucks, and, all this, that, and the other thing. I mean, you hear it. And then you say, well, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm going to go home and have a beer and sit down and watch ESPN. There's your problem. You've taken yourself out of the equation because you don't want to know. Place that in one of the sections there. And consider that 1. Let me add something to that. Here's another 1. If you disconnect, disengage, pull yourself away, and not want to be a part of this society, to be able to strengthen its infrastructure in a way that's going to help you and your family protect themselves and have a free and liberated country, that's the other number 1. You know what that's going to equal? You take yourself away. You don't take an interest in keeping the liberty and freedom and the peace that we have in this country. What's that going to add up to? I'll tell you, it's not going to add up very well for you, your family, your neighborhood, your city, your state, or the rest of the country. But, that's your decision. And again, it's just a view, it's just an opinion of that view from an observation I have. That's all it is. And I use the word you in a general sense, no one specifically, okay? So it helps to understand what's going on around you. But here's the thing, and I've seen this. Here's another point I want to make. I have literally heard from people that seem to think that I'm wrong. Well, I'm not going to get into a whole huge diatribe of why people think I'm wrong and why I, all that. Let me just simplify it for you and say this. I could be wrong about a lot of things, but I'm not. And I will admit when I am wrong, and I usually do, because mama didn't raise no fool. And a lot of people say that, they agree with me, but they're hanging out on the fence. You've heard that metaphor, you're sitting on the fence. Which side are you going to jump down onto, And I've also heard these people tell me that As far as they're concerned, now, as far as they are concerned, I'm wrong. And they're going to stay on the fence until they, it goes back to really learning something new. Every day when you went into school, did you not understand from the time of kindergarten to the time you graduated school that all of that was there to help you understand how to do something? Not what you're doing to add it up to make a resolution or a solution, but how to learn. From the time I was in the third grade, my mind just accelerated in wanting to learn more stuff and learn something new every day. Unfortunately, my schools that I went to never had the opportunity, or I should say never had the programs for me to take the opportunity to accelerate beyond the grade that I was in. It didn't happen from the time I was in kindergarten to the time I was graduated high school, until after I graduated high school. So, I knew a hell of a lot more than anybody else in my class. I was helping people out learn stuff. They were asking me, hey, can you help me out? Yeah, sure, I'd help them out in class, All the while being so bored at the information that they were trying to educate me with that I would just breeze through it and just get a grade. I didn't care what grade it was. I didn't get A's or B's. I can tell you right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't get A's or B's. I was bored. I know a whole lot, but I'm only going to do marginal work just to get the hell out because I'm bored, and I was bored by the time I was in the 7th grade. I was just like, get me out of here. But I couldn't. I said all that to present this to you. You may think that you know, and you may say that you know something, but do you really? Do you really know it? That's why I always say, hey, I could be wrong. I don't mind that. I could be wrong. Usually I'm not, but I could be wrong. When people tell me that I'm wrong, there is this thing in my life that I've learned. If I have something that I know, or as my mom used to tell me, if you're going to contradict someone and their information that they have, you better have something to back it up with. And guess what? Mama didn't raise no fool. I back up everything I talk about, all right? So if anybody's going to tell me I'm wrong, you better back it up. Prove yourself right, back it up. And if you can't, bye-bye, have a nice day. I've said that before in other episodes. If you don't think that you have that you don't have to prove anything to anybody, you're wrong right off the get-go because you have to prove it to yourself. That's number one right there. Number two, if you contradict me in the information that I present, then you're going to have to prove to me that you're right. Not a lot of people like to do that. Not a lot of people will do that. Why? Because they don't like learning anything new every day. And that's number one. Number two, they don't like to admit when they're wrong. And I'm using the word you and all of that in a general, sense. I don't have anyone particularly in mind when I say that. I'm just saying. We see these things around. We see these things that are out there, and we see what's happening in our world, in our geopolitical surroundings. And we're going to sit there and say that 1984 is not a real possibility in this country right now. We're going to sit around and examine all of these little things and deny the very use of massive surveillance to track everyone. We're going to sit around and go to work and do stuff and live life and deny the fact that we're not being tracked. Let me blatantly put it out to you right now. To all my listeners. You're being tracked, hacked, and smacked every single time you wake up. What do you think is in your car? You got a newer model car, say in the last 10 years, maybe 5 years at the least. Your cars track you. By the way, I know people who have OnStar or had OnStar in their cars. Guess what? They've ripped them out. They've told the dealers, tear them out of there. I don't want them. Why? Because it tracks you. It is on record that OnStar has opened up their microphones and can hear every single thing you're saying in your car, even if you're a bad singer and you're singing along with the music on the radio. They know this. Well, that's not a bad thing. I mean, if I'm stuck out there, they can open my car. Oh, that's kind of convenient. And creepy all at the same time. Did you know that the newer cars, say within the last 3 years at least, have a tracking system in it? Did you know that? Here, let's do this, folks. Why don't you take your cell phone, and if you're an Android user, if your phone operates on the Android system, go in and find Google Maps, or Navstar, or whatever else you're using, or whatever it is. Google Maps is a good one. Everybody recognizes that one, right? Turn that on right now. Go ahead. Turn that on right now. What do you see? You see a little blue dot. That's you, folks. How about getting in your car and turning that on and having your friend or your loved one sit next to you and watch where you drive? It's probably on the iPhone too, but they are tracking you. Oh, and by the way, all that data that you are paying for, you're paying the company to track you because all that's being recorded and given to the NSA. Okay? I'm just letting you know. Did you know that in 1990, well, no, let me go back. I'm coming out of memory here from 20 years ago, okay? So in 1994, there was a push in Congress to create, because of certain things, there was a push in Congress to create this document that would preserve the security of electronic communications. 1996, the Telecommunication Act of 1996. They've amended that since, but in that, worded in only legalese that you and I and basic Mr. and Mrs. America couldn't understand for the life of them, basically says that the telecommunications companies, and as you know, cell phones were becoming very popular at that time, cell phone manufacturers, the government said to the cell phone manufacturers, you're going to open up a back door for us to get into these networks. Cell phone companies and these manufacturers like Motorola and other companies like that at that time, it's that big, internet boom as well. The government told these companies, guess what? We want your technology. Oh, by the way, that's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Basically, in 2014, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, the federal government, Homeland Security, they know where you're at all times, everywhere, every given minute of every given day. 1984 by George Orwell was not supposed to be an operations manual, but guess what? It is. And then some. On steroids. Okay? So when you look at these things, when you examine these things, when you see what's going on, Okay, when you understand what is out there, hey, I'm standing there waving my arms, yelling at you, the bridge is out, I'm holding a sign, the bridge is out, don't go that way, hey, the bridge is out. And you keep on going? Not my problem. I hope you have a beneficiary on your life insurance policy, because you're going to go right over that cliff where the bridge was, and I kept yelling at you that the bridge was out, and you didn't care. So, so now we have this whole surveillance program that is tracking you everywhere you go. So what are we going to do about it? Anything? What are we going to do? There's a lot of things to do, and if you want to contact me, I can tell you what to do, or I can't tell you what to do, but I can give you some suggestions to take a look at so that you can make up your own minds. How's that? That works for me. Email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. What else do we have going on? I don't know. So why don't I take a break and I'll come right back. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Views Express. Come join me Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. What we see is not always the truth. Lies, deceit, cover-ups. This is the world we live in. It is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com. Hey, welcome back, folks. How you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, for the 21st of March, 2014. How y'all doing? Man, I'll tell you, we got a missing airplane. Was there an airplane? Was there a jet? Let's think about that one. Did some mystical portal open up in the sky and just suck it into another dimension? Who knows? That's something for George Norrie to talk about. Anyway, we have so many things happening all over the world that, as I've said before in previous broadcasts, it's yeah, it changes every 5 minutes, so we have to pay attention to what's going on around us. The thing that really is bugging me is the fact that our politicians, let me rephrase that. The criminals in Washington, D.C. seem to think that we're stupid. I think it's over 1,000 military special forces Green Berets are going to stand with the people. Another general has been fired or removed from duty, and he's going to stand with the people. Most of the generals, now there's 12 or 13, I don't know how many there are that got fired, they're standing with the American people. Most of the military, somewhere last I heard was 70% of the military are standing with the American people. Last I heard, about that same amount of law enforcement are standing with the American people. We've heard where people are wanting to impeach Obama, impeach Nancy Pelosi. Well, impeachment is one thing, and that works to a point. But what would be better is to have the, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the Provost Marshal of the United States of America to round up his men and go in and relieve the current resident of the White House of his duties. including the vice president, including the Speaker of the House, including the majority and minority leaders, including everyone else that has committed crimes against humanity and treason against the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, let me give you a reality check. The corporations that run the United States of America will never allow that to happen because they have their own private army. Oh, you didn't know that? Can you say Blackwater or Academi or whatever the hell they're going by nowadays? And they've got other little, groups of people that come in and take care of business when they want. This is corporations that your money is funding. And when you go buy their products or commit to using their services. And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense on one aspect of it that the United States of America would be run by a corporation, wouldn't it? Well, yeah, considering the fact that, and correct me if I'm wrong, 1925, the United States of America became incorporated. It is now the United States of America Incorporated. This is all after 1913. This is all after, before 1933 and the New Deal. But think about it, folks. It stands to logic. It rolls right into this logical conclusion. If we the people don't stand up to the corporate bullcrap from Washington, D.C., if we don't kick out the corporations from the District of Criminals, we are going to be in some sorry-ass shape coming 2016. Okay? I've said it before and I'll say it again. I just have a feeling, and I hope I'm wrong, I just have a gut feeling that either just before or just after the midterm elections in November, I could be wrong, and I hope I am. A false flag event will happen, and President Obama will set himself up as dictator. And the first person he's going to go shake hands with is Vladimir Putin. Okay? I hope I'm wrong. I hope that's a scenario that will never, ever happen. Will it happen? I don't know. But as current trends are moving, as current trends are seen, as things are moving in the way and the direction that they are currently, kind of makes sense to me, doesn't it? Well, does it make sense to you? I mean, how do you see all this? What do you see as a scenario? I want to know. Send me information. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Folks, I want to get out of here. More later on Monday on the Views Express Live and also on the Wayne S. Pierce Show. Please come join me. Wayne S. Pierce Show, 12 noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. The Views Express, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Check it out. I got more stuff to talk about, man. I got, holy crap, you've seen it on the Free America Radio Facebook page, haven't you? Go check it out, man. I've been putting stuff up. Go to freeamericaradio.us. The page has changed. Let me know what you think. There's going to be, I'm planning on adding a page as well. I'm going to update it. So, if you have articles, blogs, links to radio shows, whatever that you do, please send them. I'll put them up there. If you want to advertise on the Free America Radio Network, please email me and we'll work something out. All right? Yeah, freeamericaradio@usa.com. If you want to send me some information that you might think is vitally important, send it to freeamericaradio@unseen.is. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. And folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go away now. I'm going to go bye-bye. Actually, I'm going to take care of my nose. It's driving me nuts. So anyway, I will talk to you later. And come join me on the Views Expressed Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. The email is freeamericaradio@usa.com. The website, freeamericaradio.us.